What sets our vegan brush set apart, and what does vegan even mean in the context of nail brushes? Simply put, vegan means that there are no animal parts used in these brushes. Traditionally, nail art brushes and art brushes use Kolinsky sable hair, which comes from a weasel. They can have their pluses and minuses, a plus being longevity and a minus being inconsistency in hair thickness and spring. The brushed hair in our vegan brushes are made from a super high quality synthetic nylon, which is made to mimic the pluses of Kolinsky sable hair while giving you complete consistency in hair fibers. What does that translate to? More consistent movement of the brush, more consistent bounce and spring, and more consistent art. In this video, I'm going to cover what each brush is for. Let's begin with the yellow colored brush. Now, the brushes in this set mimic the ones in our original Kolinsky set, so this is similar to the gold brush in our Kolinsky set. Typically, the gold brush would be used for doing swirls, and the best part about this is when you first put the brush down onto the nail, it tends to deposit more gel than when it gets going after that. So it's easy to start with a thicker amount of product and then pull that to a very hair thin line. This brush has a nice spring and a nice bounce, and you can tell the difference when working with different viscosities of gel and doing swirls. You can also use this brush to do lines. Well, that covers the yellow brush. Now on to probably the most popular, which is going to be the pink brush, which is the equivalent of our magenta Kolinsky hairbrush. It's a nice fine point detail brush. And we use this for a ton of stuff, but really anything that requires a nice thin line is gonna be perfect for this brush. And I like it specifically when I have a glob of gel and I'm just pulling right out of that glob to get my thin line. So this is a workhorse type of brush, and that's what you would use that one for. Some people like it for swirling and other things, but mostly it's just little details. Now, the orange brush is similar to our light pink Kolinsky sable hair brush, and this brush is an angled one-stroke brush. To do one-stroke techniques, you load your brush with two colors, and you're depositing two colors in one stroke. That's why it's called one-stroke. So what you do is blend out your paints, and then with little dabs, and this is working with the Wildflowers painting gels. With nice little dabs, you're able to make these smooth, beautiful looking flower petals using a one-stroke technique. This technique is actually very fast and easy once you get the hang of it. So that's the orange brush. Next up, we are going to cover the blue brush, which is typically like an aquarelle brush is what they would call this, similar to the indigo in our other set. I love using this for abstract art and when working with the ink because this brush holds so much liquid. So working with acetone and alcohol to do these abstract ink looks is just perfect for that brush. Now moving on to the green brush, which is similar to the lime green in our Kolinsky set. This brush I love to make soft shadows. You can also use it for little petals and things like that, but when I'm teaching, typically this is the brush that I'm going to pick up when I'm making a shadow on a rounded surface. As you can see, this is a rounded line, and this brush is like a little tiny tongue, and it works so perfect to just press out the gel into a shadow. And last but not least is the purple brush, and this is a new brush for Wildflowers. This is a gel oval brush, typically is what it's called. And besides applying, a solid color to the nail, if you work with potted gels, you can do some really awesome abstract leaves and really cool stuff because this brush, when it's pressed out, holds so much gel. So I like doing these big giant flowers with it. It's my favorite, but it's also great for just applying a solid color to the nail as well. Now, we often get the question, how do I clean these? How do I take good care of them? You can use these brushes with acetone, with alcohol when you're doing your artwork, but I would never clean them with that. You want to use the Wildflowers matte top coat. Typically, you'll see me pinch out my brush. So I just pinch the gel out of my brush. If I feel like I need some alcohol, I can do a little alcohol in there really quickly, but I always go then to matte top coat, the Wildflowers matte gel top coat. Why do we use this? It's because it's a suspension base. So it's meant to grab and suspend particles, pigment particles, glitters, shimmers, all of that. And it's amazing how much pigment comes out of this brush. So I dab it into the mat, swish it around very gently, be kind to your brushes. And after I mush it around in my matte top coat, just gently, kind of one side and then the other, I will take that brush onto my white cotton pad because it's very easy to see if there's still stuff coming out of it. So I'm just going to repeat that until it wipes clean. Typically, I don't deep clean my brushes like this after every single use, but always at the end of my workday, as part of my routine when I'm closing up shop for the day, I will pull out every art brush that I touched that day. I will get a nice big glob of the Wildflowers matte top coat, and I will work every brush in it until I have worked the brushes completely clean. So again, this is our collection of vegan brushes. We are adding to this collection all the time, but these are the ones that specifically come in the vegan brush set. I hope you love these brushes as much as I do. Thank you so much for watching.